The Farmington Civic Center. Free live music in downtown Farmington every other Wednesday at 7 p.m. And hear more jazz every weekday afternoon from 1 to 5 p.m. only on 90.9 FM KSJE, Farmington.
Wednesday morning here on KSJE. You're listening to the Scott Micklin Morning Program, and it is time on Wednesday to talk to Dr. Mike Hattabaugh, who is joining us from the Encouragement Lab. Dr. Hattabaugh, good morning.
Good morning.
Things in the lab looking pretty good this morning.
Brightened up. I got all my lights on. I'm getting a tan.
Things are great. Excellent. Well, very good. Today, our topic this week is how to use a long-term plan for your life. Wow.
Yeah, that sounds like a big, complicated thing, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. You've got me thinking about it just sitting here, but okay. What does that mean?
Well, it's a little secret. If you listen to last week's message that I had,
right.
This is really a continuation of that in some ways, and it's just a much grander scale. Recently, I've been coaching some people that are really having a hard time going, I don't know if I have any goals in my life. I don't know, what do I want? And I say, okay, well, 5 years from now, what do you want to be doing?
Okay.
Now, if it's sipping pina coladas by the beach,
right.
You better do a lot of work so you can retire 5 years from now, right? And that's, by the way, people do that. It's rare, but it's possible if you're willing to do that. But I'm more in terms of thinking, when you imagine your future self, forget about whatever roadblocks you have right now. What is your future self doing? So I recently walked a client through the idea that they said, I know that in 5 years' time I want to be helping people. That's all they could boil it down to was, I want to be helping people in 5 years. I'm like, great. That is a goal. It doesn't have to be the specific, I want to be helping 22 people a week or, some niche. It's
right.
Just, I want to be helping people. And then we reround that 5 years back to today, okay, and said, okay, what do you need to be doing today so that 5 years from now you can be helping people? Well, in some people's case, it's I need to, quit sitting and watching TV all day because that's all I do.
Right.
That's if you want to be helping people 5 years from now, you can't do that. I need to get rid of this habit that I have in my life, whether it's a drug or alcohol related habit or just a personal habit. In order for me to accomplish my goal 5 years from now, I need to not be doing that because that's the thing that's keeping me from moving towards that. And then you just sit down and you go, okay, what are the things I need to do so that my life will most likely look like that 5 years from now? And you can start with, what are the daily habits that I need to do? What are the weekly habits? What are things I need to do this month, 6 months from now? In 2.5 years, where should I be on this progression? A lot of things start with a slow up curve, and then at the very end is when they take off. Well, you can't start up there at the top. You got to say, okay, I've got to do these little things so that down the road I can be much more successful in whatever it is that I'm trying to do. So start with that long-term plan and go, okay, that's what I want to be. Mm-hmm. I'm at probably that. I just started my last 10 years of my work cycle of my life is the way I look at it is, okay, the next 10 years is really all I've got to really live in that high energy, high output zone. And so I'm going, okay, what will that look like 10 years from now? What is it I want in my life? And I've pretty much boiled it down to, I don't care about having a huge, nice house or even nice cars. I love to travel. So I know that that's one of my goals is I want to be able to travel to all the places that I like traveling to whenever I want.
Right.
And so guess what? I can't lock myself into a place where I have to be somewhere every day. I don't get any vacation or any time off because that will inhibit one of my number one goals in my life, right? And so I want to do that.
Right.
I also know that 10 years from now, I love to walk. I love to hike and walk around big cities. And I want to be ambulatory 10 years from now. Well, I know in order to do that, I got to keep all my muscles and my joints stretched out and exercise. I've got to continue that practice in my life in order to maintain it. I can't just go, 10 years from now when I retire, I'm going to go hike the Rockies and
Yeah,
then
right.
sit on my chair all day. At 10 years from now, get up and go do that. That's not going to happen. So right now, I'm doing this video call at a standing desk. I stand when I do most of my work because I want to keep my body upright, because that's what I like to do, is walk around. So those are two of my primary goals 10 years from now. And so I'm doing those things in my life so that I can maintain them, so that when I get 10 years from now, I'll still be able to do those things, and I'll have done them all along the way.
That's true. Very good advice. Well, Dr. Hattabaugh, I think if you go on that big hike, take your camera with you so we can do this show from the mountains, okay?
Yeah, by the way, there's a lot of great videos of people that go
Yeah.
and video the whole thing, and it's
Sure.
a lot of fun.
Well, there you go. Now, this sounds suspiciously like goal setting, Dr. Hattabaugh.
Well, it is, but
Right.
it very much is. But the problem with a lot of goal setting is they start with the short term. And what I'm saying is that far too many people don't start with what's the end in mind.
Okay, right.
That's
this is
where
long
you
term.
start is what do I want at the end of this? Now, the only, if your only joy is going to be at the end, then it's not going to be very successful. What I found out is, the sports that I excelled in, which was primarily baseball, and then in college I was a diver.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two sports that I enjoyed practice.
Okay.
I had just as much fun practicing those sports as I did performing them. All the other sports, I like game time, but I hated going to practice. So realize that if you're not enjoying the process that leads to that goal, then you're not going to get to the goal. So that's also part of that process. But realize that you can enjoy the process when you realize I'm doing this because 10 years from now, this summer I walked around Lisbon, Portugal with my wife. It was awesome. It was amazing. And we hiked, there's lots and lots of hills in Lisbon.
Right.
And we walked all over them. And I will tell you that my age is starting to show up on me. And I went, I was able to do it this time. I've got to work very hard so that the next time I come back to this city or another city, I can be just as active. And again, I'm going to slow down a little, but I don't plan on slowing down a lot. So I'm keeping my back straight, my hamstrings stretched out.
Right.
I'm going on walks 2-3 times a week, and I'm going to a gym and exercising, because 10 years from now I still want to be able to go to that big city and walk around a whole lot, because I just love that so much.
Gotcha. Well, and you have that long-term goal in the back of your mind as you're doing all these things, and that's what helps, I suppose, right?
Exactly.
All right. Very good. Dr. Mike Hattabaugh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That is Dr. Mike Hattabaugh, everyone, from the Encouragement Lab with us this week. He's with us every Wednesday here on KSJE, Farmington, New Mexico.